Welcome into the Bills Chat halftime show. I am Josh McCarty. The Bills are trailing the Patriots by a riveting score of 6-3. That was a half of football that I would love to forget. First of all, how many flags were there in that first half? It felt like a record number of flags. We can probably pull that up here. There were 8 flags on the Bills in the first half, 2 on New England. That is not why this game is as close as it is. But it's still not helping. Let's see. People are already upset. What the F is this? Still in it, but still. I mean, yes, you're still in it. You're down by 3 points and you get the ball coming out of the second half. But um there's a couple things happening here. I think let's start with the larger issue. These Buffalo Bills, as they are currently constructed, with this everybody eats mentality of we don't need an alpha wide receiver. We don't need a Stephon Diggs. Um, Everybody's going to have their time. You don't generally get the best guy in that scenario. And when you have a team like the Patriots who can come out with their corners and play man coverage across the board, and they can for the most part. Now, there were some leaky Josh Allen runs at the end of the second half, but when they can, for the most part, contain Josh Allen in the pocket, it's going to be really tough for these Bills to move the ball. Now, like Stokes said, this half could not have gone worse for Buffalo, only down 3. It's still worrisome, but they'll lock in. So many shoot yourself in the foot mistakes. The Keon Coleman fumble that was just, what are you doing? Some play calling issues. The The drops on the handoff to Knox, I mean, was that supposed to be a handoff to Knox? If it looked like Josh Allen thought it was, and that was an interesting play call. I don't know why you're handing it to your second string tight end at that point in time when you have James Cook, but, I think what we're seeing tonight is a Bills team that's being challenged by the Patriots to prove they can consistently beat man coverage. And so far, the Bills really haven't had any answers. Now, look, it is week 5 of the regular season. What the Bills would do in a January playoff matchup against the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Patriots is not necessarily what they want to unleash on October 5th in week 5. Um, you have not seen, besides the one read option play that looked like nobody was on the same page, any designed Josh Allen runs. The runs have been scrambles. I do think we will see an uptick in Josh Allen designed runs as this game goes on because right now they don't have any receiver that can just go out there and consistently beat man coverage. The McChronicle, how is this team not ready for kickoff tonight? That's inexcusable. Normally, McChronicle, I kind of roll my eyes at the "they're not ready" comments, but when you look at the number of penalties, and yeah, Sean Hockley is kind of a meme right now because of how many penalties he's throwing. But the number of penalties tells you this team was not ready. Something as simple as Joshua Palmer not lining up correctly on a play and costing the Bills 5 yards. The stupid penalties. Can't get lined up before the snap. You just can't have that. Let's see what Justin has to say here. I hope Josh doesn't get impatient. He's over 80% passing, and his only misses are to Keon, who can't get any separation. They have to get out of their way and play disciplined football. Yeah, I mean, that's always a club in the bag for Josh Allen, right? Like, we've seen it get better in recent years, particularly last year in his MVP season. We haven't seen him dial into that YOLO Josh as we have come to know and love, and Stokes has coined the phrase. But that's always something you have to worry about, particularly when he gets the vibe that none of his playmakers are going to make plays tonight. Now, I will say, Dalton Kincaid is getting open against this defense, and I expect that he will continue to do that. Joshua Palmer did get open on a nice route. Now, that was a long play. Josh Allen had a lot of time, but Joshua Palmer is supposed to be the man beater in this offense. He's supposed to be the guy that can separate against man coverage, and I need to see that come to fruition. But what I will also say is I would expect before this game ends to see one of those deep shot wheel routes to James Cook or Ty Johnson out of the backfield against these man coverage looks. What you're seeing the Bills do a lot pre-snap this game. You've seen it before. They start a running back out wide. It looks like they're in empty. And then Josh Allen calls the running back in toward him. The whole purpose of that is to find out if the Patriots are in man or zone. If the player guarding the running back prior to the motion comes right back in and stays even with him, that is a tell that they are in man coverage. If the player standing over the running back just kind of shades in a little bit and then everybody else just realigns, that's a tell they're in zone. So keep an eye on that. Kind of keep that in your mind if you weren't aware of that. that is a sign that if they're playing man or zone, and just kind of see what the Bills do to adjust. But right now, you have to give credit to the Patriots. They're able to play this man coverage. I do think that if you want to look at the positive, the Bills defense has been fantastic tonight. After 4 tough weeks, the Jets game, whatever, they dominated the Jets, but 4 tougher weeks of the season. But they are holding the Patriots right now to 4.4 yards per play, 1 for 5 on third downs. You love to see that. And there seems like there's been some mental mistakes, some penalties that have extended drives. Terrell Bernard's um, unnecessary roughness on Drake May. I know people weren't super thrilled about that on Twitter, but that was definitely an unnecessary roughness penalty. He hit Drake May in the head. Tre'Davious White's bonkers pass interference penalty in the end zone. Now, what I will say about that scenario is that was a horrible coverage play by Tre'Davious White. In that scenario, you can kind of excuse it because of how much time's left on the clock. You don't mind interfering in that scenario because you are putting them in a situation where they have to think if they want to run another offensive play. But they dialed up a pass that only took 3 seconds, and the Bills still managed to shut that down. But 6-3, the defense is playing well. They've sacked Drake May twice. They forced 3 punts. They held them to a field goal when Keon Coleman fumbled in his own red zone. The Bills have fumbled twice, and the Bills have punted twice on their own. Now, it's not like the Bills are tearing it up offensively. They have 92 passing yards and 67 rushing yards. I do think what we're going to have to see out of the Bills, hopefully starting coming out in the second half, is leaning more into James Cook. Let's see if the Patriots can stop James Cook. You're going to have to get them out of this defense where right now they are containing Josh Allen and really allocating just enough resources to play one-on-one in the second half on the receivers. Brendan Coleman, my guy in chat, who's the second half hero? Brendan, I think it's going to be James Cook, but I would not be surprised if it's in the passing game. I do think some of these things the Bills are doing pre-snap to decipher man or zone. You can get James Cook in some favorable matchups. I think there'll be an opportunity, a real opportunity, to get him one-on-one down the field on a linebacker, and it just comes down to, can Josh Allen make the throw, and can James Cook make the catch? Now, if you want to flip this around from the Patriots' point of view, this is a team that was a 7.5-point underdog. This is the team that's looking at the Bills as up in weight class, and you're in their building. Okay. So yes, they have a 6-3 lead, but let's talk about how they actually got there. The Bills fumbled the ball and the Patriots took over in their own red zone, and they only got 3 points out of that. The last drive of the second half, Patriots get pass interference in the end zone. They only get 3 points out of that. Stephon Diggs dropped a ball on third down. Antonio Gibson, was it Antonio Gibson who fumbled? No, it was Ramondre Stevenson who fumbled. Antonio Gibson got hurt. He did fumble, but they ruled him that the Patriots recovered it. Anyway, they've made their share of mistakes too. And when you really look at it, it goes back to what Stokes said. They have to almost feel like, holy cow, that half couldn't have gone better, and we're only up 6-3 with the Bills getting the ball. As an underdog, as a team who you feel like you are inferior to your opponent, that is not a great feeling. How many times did we see the drought Bills take on the Tom Brady Patriots, and the first half was like, wow, the Bills are in this game. All these plays have gone well. Brady threw a weird interception, and they fumbled a kickoff, but the Bills are only up by 3, and they still have Tom Brady, and it's probably not going to end well. Like, that's what Patriots are thinking right now. Let's see what Trey has to say here. It's not just Keon can't separate. He's losing 50-50 reps to 5'9" Nichols. Now, that's true. Marcus Jones had fantastic coverage on that play, but it sure didn't feel like Keon Coleman went up strong for that ball. There was another back shoulder ball to Keon that it felt like he wasn't even ready for. The ball came out kind of hot from Allen, but for a combination there that got a lot of credit for being on the same page in training camp, they really haven't been in sync tonight. I would expect Keon will make a play or two before this game ends, but what are you going to do? You're not going to challenge Christian Gonzalez. You just aren't. There's nobody on this Bills team that's worthy of really challenging Christian Gonzalez unless you scheme them open. Let's see, the Bills are 1-4 with Hockley, and Hockley is 60-40 against home teams. Just something this ref and the Bills can't handle. Hockley, he's a flaggy ref. It doesn't just happen with the Patriots, but he's a ref that throws a lot of flags. It is what it is. It's not why the Bills are losing, but it's an added annoyance to the game, right? The quality of the game goes down when, as a football fan, whether you're a Bills fan, whether you're a Patriots fan, or whether you're just a fan of football that wants to chill on Sunday night before you go to work the next day and watch a game, every other play when there's a flag, it kills the quality of the game. Instead of enjoying the big play that's happening on the screen, all of a sudden now you're just waiting to see if a flag pops up on your screen. And that just takes away the enjoyment for everybody around. I don't know what the answer is. A lot of these flags, by the letter of the law, have been flags on the Bills, although I did think that the holding call on Connor McGovern was as ticky tack can possibly be. And it's been frustrating. Justin says they've been stopping Cook. He's only getting 2 and 3 yard carries. It's how we settled for a field goal in the red zone. Stop running it on both first. And it seems like there's some key broken between Justin's 2 and 3 there. We're going to hope he gets that fixed. But you're playing into the Pat strength. You do bring up a great point, Justin. They are very strong up the interior. Their defensive line is very strong. But what I will say is there's not a defense in the league that the Bills should fear running against. And this Patriots team isn't, it's not like they're the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens. They can be run on. They are missing some guys up front as well. I would expect the Bills to come out, try to settle it down, lean on James Cook. I also my prediction for the second half is maybe you see a couple of designed Josh Allen runs to break the Patriots out of this man defense. Joe Brady's going to have to go a little deeper in his playbook, and maybe he didn't want to have to do that tonight. But this is a fight they're in. They're losing at halftime. It's time to see what he can do. I am a believer that this Bills wide receiver group, despite the fact that this team has scored 30 points every week, is a group that can absolutely be improved upon at the trade deadline, whether you're trading for a Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed, whether you want to get someone like DJ Moore from the Bears. I think there's definitely room for more in this group. But ultimately, I don't know if that's the direction the Bills are going to go with where they stand with the salary cap. If they do have the ability to make a move, to massage the cap a little bit, I could see them maybe adding resources on the defensive side, particularly with Dorian Strong now going on IR. We don't know when Max Harrison's coming back. And I'm sorry, I say it every week, but all you have to do is watch 2025's version of Tre'Davious White play football, and you can tell that this game has passed him by. He is not a starting cornerback on a championship defense at this stage of his career. He is just not. He is way over his skis. He gets picked on every week, and tonight is no different. So I do think that the Bills are going to have to find a way to add to this cornerback room with the limited resources they have at the trade deadline, and that will probably impede their opportunity to improve this offense. So improvement's going to have to come from within. We'll see what Joe Brady has schemed up for this second half. I still feel good about the Bills' chances of winning, although this is a Patriots team that plays the style of football that can give the Bills fits. Say it every week. Big drive coming for the Bills coming out of the second half, but let's not let this underdog stick around. Certainly don't go 3-and-out and let them get ahead by 2 scores. Hopefully the Bills have something schemed up for this first drive. I do predict we'll get a Josh Allen designed run on this first drive, and at some point we'll get a deep shot to James Cook. Thanks for tuning in to Bills Chat Halftime. I'll be back next week on Monday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. And Luca and I will be recording early tomorrow morning, I believe, as very early tomorrow morning because he's at the game. So we're still going to figure it out, but your podcast will be there for you at some point very early in this process. Hopefully it's a Bills victory we're talking about because we're both going to be going on a lack of sleep. I will talk to you all next week on the Bills Chat Halftime Show.